Really nothing new today, just putting it together. There were two different methods on your calculator, so I'll show you method 1 for example 1, method 2 for example 2. Pick which one you like better, it doesn't matter to me. So method 1, I call intersects. Method 1 intersects. And method 2 is intercepts, which I wish those sounded a little bit different. Ooh, method 2, intercepts. Intersect method is where we put the left-hand side of the equation into y1, and we put the right-hand side into y2. So whatever's on the left goes into y1, whatever's on the right goes into y2. We pick zoom, and then number 6 to get the graph. And then wherever those two graphs cross is our answers, and we find the intersection points by going second function calc. Number 5, intersect. And then we just repeat that if there's more than one. Kind of remember from last year? Going back a little bit. Obviously, a question like this would be on the calculator section of your exam. They're not going to try to fool you and put this on the non-calc section. So again, grab your calc. If you don't have, just peek over someone's shoulder. Okay, so go into your y equals, clear out anything that you might have in there. Putting in the left-hand side, so square root 2x minus 1. Jumping down to y2, x minus 4. I don't go to graph right away. I zoom because it sets up your axes for the particular question. We pick zoom standard unless we're doing a trig graph, which will be in unit 4. So zoom standard will give you the graph from -10 to 10 in both directions. Oh, look how cute that is. We shouldn't be surprised that one side is the swoop. Why do we know that it's a swoop? Because it's the root, and why do we know this is a line? So take a look at the right-hand side. What kind of equation? Linear, y equals mx plus b. How do you show the work for a question like this? You just sketch the graph. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're just doing a quick little sketch of what you see. So swoop this way, line this way. Ooh, let's pretend they intersected. That's step 1 of showing the work. So first thing you get is a point for the graph. The second point comes from marking the points that you're going to find. So here we're going to find the intersections. So I'm marking them. I'm not finding an x-intercept. I'm not finding a y-intercept. I'm not finding a max-min. I'm finding the intersect. That's the equivalent to writing down all the keystrokes we're about to do. Never do you need to write on the exam, I pressed calc and then this, and never. This shows me you graphed it and you're about to find the intersections. Okay, intersections come from second function calc. Jump down to number 5. It'll always say first curve, you're going to hit enter. Or not. Or that's interesting. Usually it flips to second curve. And I don't know why the button's staying red. Did it flip to second curve for you guys? And then enter a third time will get you the thing.
didn't switch either.
That's so weird. I've never seen that before. Second calc. Number 5. It's like an elevator button. If I hit it more often, I think it's going to work. That's really weird. And it's not working on this one either. It shouldn't matter, though. It worked. I don't know. We're good now? We all have the same? Okay, so there's the hint. Move the cursor. The only thing we care about is the x coordinate. The y coordinate in this is irrelevant. It's where the x's are the same. Make sure that you always read the question for the rounding instructions. This one says nearest tenth. So 7.8. If you put down x and y, that's a half mark off because it's telling me you don't know which is the solution. It's always x. So you might want to make a note. Y is irrelevant, or don't write y, or don't look at y, whatever you need to remember, it's just the x coordinate. If you just put down the answer of this 7.8, that's 1 out of 3 marks. So be careful. There's 1 mark for the graph, 1 mark for marking the point you're finding, and 1 mark for the correct answer. Okay, so you have to have the graph and you have to have the point marked. That's the equivalent of showing me the work. Kind of remember from last year? Method number 2 is called intercepts. Step number 1 is we move everything to one side. Move all terms to one side. Then it all goes into y1, because we only have one equation if we move it to one side. Zoom and number 6, just like before. Second function, calc. Number 2, 0. What's a synonym for the zeros of a function? X-intercept, so that's why it's called intercept method. That's what you're finding are the x-intercepts. And these are the ones that you have to give a point on the left, so it'll ask for left bound. And then it will ask for right bound. And then enter a third time. And then you would repeat that if there's more than one intersection point. I prefer method 1 because this one's a little bit more work, but some people don't like having 2 lines on the graph at one time. So just an option for you. If you like method 1 better, you can always use method 1. It's your choice. But let's just practice this one. So first thing we need to do is the negative 6 needs to go over and the x needs to go over. So I'm going to leave that root of 3x plus 2. And then have plus 6 minus x equals 0. Trying to see where you can see it. Can you see it there, my screen? Okay. Okay, so all into y1, so square root 3x plus 2. How about a square root this time? And then plus 6 minus x. Zoom standard. Again, all zoom standard does is sets up the axes -10 to 10 in each direction. Now, what do you notice about the x-intercept? We can't see it, so it means we need to change one of the axes. Which one do we want to change? The x max, so you're going to go into Window, go down to your x max, suggest a value. 20, 15. Imagine on the first example we couldn't have seen that intersection. We would have had to do the same, change it so you can see it. Okay, so again, just a quick sketch. It's a funky little swoop here. That's worth 1 mark. How do we get mark number 2? Just X the point, mark it. You're showing me there I'm about to find the intersect. I should say the intercept. Okay, so second calc. Number 2, which is zeros. My cursor happened to already be on the left, so I'm just going to hit enter. I'm going to move so I'm somewhere on the right of that x-intercept. Hit enter. The arrows at the top, they're pointing. Is this the one you want me to find? Enter a third time. And we have 12.2. Questions?